So I undressed her down to her little knit top that she had on and put some long underwear bottoms on her and tucked her in real tight and kissed her goodnight. And
Burke was downstairs trying to put together a model.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear thoughts build up until I can't hear. My mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear the thoughts build up until I can't hear. That my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.
Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science, the most authentic voice in true crime. I've been saying quite a few times now, when one note is off, it ruins the whole symphony. Now, what if the note that is off is the room that we're assuming this crime happened in? Are you right about the room? What if it's not the basement? What if it's not the kitchen? This episode is a test of critical thinking skills. If you can think critically, the answer is fairly straightforward. In fact, thinking effectively, we can thin slice our way to the likeliest answer lickety-split. And that is what we're going to do. We're going to use thin slicing in the third and final analysis here. Frankly, after 28 years, I'm surprised so many, almost a fifth of you, voted for the kitchen. Are you one of them? I'm going to try to explain in this analysis why the kitchen, also why JONBENET's bedroom and the parents' bedroom don't make any sense either. Before we get to that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. If you someone who's following the Jennifer Doulos trial in terms of the mistress, Michelle Troconis, I'll be covering that later today, so look out for that. If you're enjoying this analysis, please like, share, leave a comment. You can also hit the thanks button, and let's get started. Now, one of the ways of intuiting the psychology of the crime and the criminal is to look at psychological allegory. What do I mean? Well, in the same way that where JONBENET was found, I believe, isn't where she was killed. The ransom note was found, I think this is fair to say, not where it was written. We have two scenarios regarding the ransom note. One is that an intruder wrote it. The other is that one or both of the Ramseys wrote it. Now, if the intruder wrote it, do you think it gives an indication to where he left JONBENET's remains? It's not left in the basement or the hallway or near the stairs leading to the basement. The ransom note's not giving you any clue to where JONBENET herself is. There would be no reason for an actual intruder to leave JONBENET in the wine cellar and then head back upstairs to exit through the kitchen and risk being seen if his point of egress was much nearer. It's important to imagine an intruder scenario even if there isn't an intruder. Why? Because this could show us how the staging psychology is intended. If there wasn't an intruder and someone wants you to believe there was, well, then they have got a scenario in mind for how the intruder did what, where, and when. So consider this. If there isn't an intruder, the ransom note may have been left on the spiral staircase to show the route of the intruder. And what is his route? Well, he broke in through the already damaged hall door, headed up the spiral staircase, grabbed JONBENET and left the same way. The same psychology works if the intruder got in through the butler's pantry door. Remember, the lower hall terminates right by the lowest rung of the spiral staircase. And when you see video footage going down that staircase, you can actually see the other staircase falling away as through the different levels of the stairs. You can actually see the other staircase falling down towards the kitchen, and the door left open besides that stairway was likely deliberate staging as well, especially if you imagine the fictitious intruder as we know him today got in and out through the basement window. but how it was initially imagined may have been a different way. Now, in a more basic sense, why was the ransom note left at the bottom of the stairs and not in JonBenet's bedroom, or at the top of the spiral staircase, or elsewhere on that level? The answer may be to misdirect attention away from the bedrooms, away from that level of the home, and also, for that matter, the basement. This may also be the purpose of the flashlight in the kitchen. John bringing JonBenet up to the lounge may have also a similar intent, to draw attention away from the evidence or the lack of evidence in the basement. Okay, let's try to simplify things again. The ransom note is on the bottom rung of the spiral staircase, not the top where it would be easier to find, the bottom. And now, in order for Patsy, in her story, to check on JonBenet after having seen the note, right, for Patsy to check on JonBenet and also to read the note, she now has to jump over it. Remember, it is placed page side by side by side. Effectively, it's one entire tread of the stair that you've now got to avoid in order to not stand on the note. And clearly the note wasn't stepped on, wasn't stood on. And so Patsy would have to jump over it on the way down and then jump back over it on the way up. Try jumping over a stair, one of the stairs on a spiral staircase. On a narrow, winding spiral staircase, jumping over one on the way down, over one on the way up, I doubt it. JonBenet's body is also at the bottom of the house, at the furthest point from any inhabited room. Did the ransom note writer think JonBenet would be found? Did he or she hope she wouldn't be found? I suspect so. And the ruse, whosever's it was, succeeded for 7 hours while the cops occupied the house. Now let's review locations where evidence was found. Number 1, ransom note on spiral stairs. Did the crime likely happen here or anywhere near here? Did the crime even happen on this level? I suspect not. 2, flashlight in kitchen. Did you know that John in 2016 claimed that he used the flashlight to put Burke to bed?
And I think your dad had said he used the flashlight that night to put you to bed, and then you snuck downstairs to play.
Yeah, I had some toy that I wanted to put together.
Number 3, pineapple in kitchen. The biggest reason why JonBenet couldn't have been killed in the kitchen moments after poaching pineapple from Burke's plate, and I think you see that scenario in one particular documentary, well, was because the pineapple was partially digested. So that pineapple needed some time to go through a living JonBenet's body to get where it was. Obviously, after she dies, it doesn't move any further. Another reason why the Kolos scenario is overly simplistic is it seems to completely ignore the birefringent material found in JonBenet, as well as the deliberate effort to wipe JonBenet down and redress her, specifically to hide this aspect. Number 4, suitcase/basement window in basement. Like the ransom note, there are obvious artifacts that cheerlead the onlooker to look over here. One is the suitcase. It says, look here, and then look at the window.
Hello, I say over there. Were you looking for me? Over here! Hey!
I think if we learned anything in the JonBenet Ramsey case, it's when something says, look over here, well, you need to look somewhere else. Number 5, wood splinter. He also told Newsweek he discovered a wood splinter, apparently from the paintbrush handle, on the carpet just outside the room where she was found. It is definitely hard to say whether clues that were found, even small ones, weren't deliberately left where they were left. If you consider that the ransom note writer didn't leave a single print, and both Ramsey parents were careful enough to not handle the note, doesn't it suggest that other microscopic evidence wasn't left behind by mistake? Number 6, paint tray and knife in basement. In tabloid articles, Patsy has been interviewed saying the last thing she did with JonBenet was paint. She also apparently painted John a Christmas portrait of boats. This being the case, would she have gone down to the basement to place the tray there? In other words, wasn't the paint tray possibly elsewhere in the house to begin with? Admittedly, this is a somewhat weak argument, which is why the basement emerges as a viable location. But the basement is still a labyrinth with many rooms. So the question is, if the basement was used, which room in the basement? If there was a broken window, ice cold air was likely breezing into the room in the middle of the night. That couldn't have been the ideal environment for mischief. Number 7, baseball bat with carpet fibers in garden. On Dr. Phil, this bat is described as one belonging to Burke, left by Burke, possibly used by the killer, and then dropped on his way out.
I would normally leave it out on the patio.
So an intruder could have picked that up on the way in.
Yeah.
But what if that bat belonged to someone else, say Patsy? It's also not clear whether the fiber was found on the black bat or another bat lying in the garden. As far as I'm aware, a child's bat, a teal-green color, was found outside the basement toilet window. This is the opposite side of the basement to where JonBenet herself was found. 8. Green tinsel/foil found in JonBenet's hair. This is perhaps easily explained. The room in which JonBenet was found, the wine cellar, was typically used to store Christmas decorations. It's also possible this was transferred from the living room floor. Number 9. JonBenet found wearing oversized bloomers from JonBenet's bedroom drawer in wine cellar. Did whoever was responsible for staging and cleaning run back up to JonBenet's room from the basement wine cellar to retrieve these bloomers? Conversely, was JonBenet carried from elsewhere, wiped down in one of the basement bathrooms, and a Christmas gift meant for Patsy's niece, unwrapped and used to replace JonBenet's soiled underwear? Also, question, what happened to JonBenet's original underwear? 10. White comforter from dryer and white sequin star top. The white comforter is also interesting. Was this part of the original crime scene? I think it's doubtful. If it was retrieved from the dryer, it suggests part of the cover-up may have happened nearby, on the first floor.
The dark side clouds everything.
When we change our perspective, when we simply look at a set of given facts differently, it is as though a light switch is turned on. Suddenly the darkness that obscures everything vanishes. There is a simple and obvious reason why the incident couldn't have happened in either JonBenet's bedroom or the parents' bedroom, or the kitchen for that matter. Have you figured it out yet? I'm not going to take it further than that, but we will deal with this question fully and finally in the third and final part in this series. So look out for that. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.